Hey there, oddballs. In the paranormal news, we have LGBTQ spirits and the ghost of Freddie Mercury. The cryptid corner this month was such a hard sell for me. I couldn't choose a cryptid worthy of Pride Month. So I copped out and totally went with unicorns, and I'll tell you guys why a little later in the show. And of course, our special guest. She's going to come in, swoop in on a rope, steal your heart, and bury it 5 feet under in a big wooden box. Yar! If it's odd to you, friend, it's on the Oddtonewfoundland.
It's the Oddtonewfoundland. Ghostly greetings from your host, Jonathan. Mysteries, ghosts, monsters, and lore. East Coast esoterica and so much more. If it's odd to you, friend, it's on the Oddtonewfoundland.
Ghostly greetings from the oldest city in North America. I'm your host, John Mallard, bringing you the best in East Coast esoterica. You, my friend, have stumbled upon the Oddtonewfoundland Paranormal Podcast. Welcome to episode 145 of your monthly paranormal variety show. Having you here is special to me. More special than 60% of Newfoundlanders being vaccinated for COVID-19. Yeah, great news, guys. Keep it up, gang. Keep it up. Also, having you here is better than fixing my adjustable dumbbells for 3 hours myself the other night, because I was a dumbbell, bought them from Kijiji, and thought that, I could trust this guy. Dude, he totally sold me adjustable dumbbells that were broken. What a jerk. Anyway, I spit on his grave. Why? Well, because you're wonderful, a masterpiece, beautifully made, important to people because you're important to me, highly favored by your creator, or the law of averages and physics working in tandem. You, my friend, are an oddball, and on this show, your family, and we are one. Thank you so much for taking the time to download the Oddtonewfoundland Paranormal Podcast. 145 episodes, and going strong. Remember, guys, every single episode of the Oddtonewfoundland in itself is a story. But just remember, I release 3 episodes on the first of every month, so don't forget to download all 3. Comment, like, subscribe. You know where I'm going with all this. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared. I'm frightened. Do you want to know why? Because this is the gayest episode of the Oddtonewfoundland Paranormal Podcast I'm ever going to put out there. Hi, my name is John. I identify as heterosexual. I'm married, and I'm an ally to the LGBTQ community. Have been for a long, long time. And I'm kind of nervous about this episode because, well, people are so easily offended. They are so easily offended by everything you put out there these days. I really had to think twice about speaking up and actually dedicating an episode to this. Not because I'm not a supporter of LGBTQ, but because people kind of jump on stuff like this and just crap on you right away. And it's so sad because you know what? I'm a massive, massive supporter. Anyway, I made a promise to myself. Last year, when the George Floyd thing went down, I was going to make a statement. And my statement was very simple. If you don't have people of color on your podcast, if you're a podcaster and you don't have people of color on your podcast, you are part of the problem. End of discussion. I feel the same way about the LGBTQ crowd. Want to know why? Guess what? We got to celebrate those differences and also our commonalities. But if I don't have members of the LGBTQ community on my podcast, I am also still part of a problem. What's that problem? Acceptance. Acceptance is the problem. So there you go. This is my very brave episode of the Oddtonewfoundland Paranormal Podcast for just everyone I know, but more in particular for all the members of the LGBTQ community that love this show and have supported me for the years. Thank you, and I love you and support you too. So there you go. Now, with all the political jargon out of the way, let's have some fun. Oh, man, what a month. What a month, what a month. So, first things first, before we get all paranormal about this, I'm freaking moving, okay? So, this is happening. We need a bigger house. You guys know for a fact that I'm a foster parent and, special needs children for the most part. And we just need more room right now to be able to keep doing what we love to do. And Anyway, I'm actually going to rent my own house. So what I decided to do was rent it to a few friends of mine. And the friend comes over and does a walkthrough of my house. And, like, near the tail end of the walkthrough, she's like, I really like this place, stuff like that. But, John, I got to ask you, like, a very personal question. And I was thinking in the back of myself, like, in the back of my head, I was like, oh, God, she's going to ask me about the horrible colors downstairs or, that hole in the wall where I fell that time and all this stuff. But no. She asked me, so tell me the truth, straight up. Is this place haunted or not? And I just roared. I was like, I freaking love you right now. My house is ghost-free. And if there was ghosts here, I'd totally be charging them rent. Why? Because I live in Newfoundland, and we're pretty much taxed for everything, including air. So I could use the extra few bucks. That's for damn well sure. All right. Look, we got to get this show on the road. But before I do that, there's something special I do every single month. And you guys know exactly where I'm going with this. Anytime somebody subscribes to the Oddtonewfoundland Paranormal Podcast in the Podbean app, okay, or even on the Podbean website that I have, anytime you follow and like the show is greatly appreciated. But when you follow me on that Podbean app, you're helping me get my show in front of more people on the app that I've chosen to be the paranormal prince of, so to speak. So what I do on this show, for anybody who's new, is this. If you subscribe, I give you a shout out on the show, and whoever subscribes gets the shout out and actually unlocks the horrible para-joke of the show, which I just absolutely love, because the joke is absolutely terrible, but you guys are awesome. So, a big shout out to WDWCDV. Don't know who you are, don't know what your name is, but thank you so much for subscribing this month. A big shout out to Shonda Mile Zero. Thank you so very much. Rain Gage. Thank you very much, Steph. Thank you very much, Adna Mahood. 777-888-666. I mean, very interesting name. But, I still appreciate you. And, man, you should drop me a line and tell me where you're from, man. I wonder. Craig, thank you so much for following. And we also have 6 other people who subscribed this month, but actually didn't put their name in the box. They just kind of hit follow or whatever. So thank you very much to you guys as well, or gals. I just want to say thank you so much to all these people. You've unlocked the horrible para-joke of the day, and here it comes. Are you ready? What kind of sex do people have in the afterlife? Well, that's simple. Like penetration. See, I told you it was horrible. I warned you in advance, man. I really did. Anyway, gang, let's get this show on the road and let's dig into this month's very gay, extremely gay, super LGBTQ version of the paranormal news.
Somewhere between the funnies and the obituaries is, oh yes, the paranormal news.
Harvey Milk is a well-known name in the LGBTQ community. The out and proud civil rights pioneer became the first openly gay elected official in California and is a legend in San Francisco. Turns out some folks in the Castro district, where Milk lived and served as a city supervisor, believe his spirit still inhabits those streets, though. Nick Romero, owner of Given, a storefront in what was Milk's old camera shop, claims he's felt Milk's presence in the building. And White Gus Van Zandt, director of the 2008 Milk biopic, was filming at the location. An unknown man who looked exactly like Milk reportedly walked on set and sat down on a couch. So this guy, he shows up on his own freaking biography. Actors were excited about the man and couldn't wait for Van Sant to see him, but the Milk lookalike reportedly vanished before the director even registered his presence. How cool is that? You've all heard of the Lizzie Borden house, right? Well, there's another Lizzie Borden house you need to hear about. Lisbeth Borden, or Lizzie Borden, a woman from Victoria area, Massachusetts, was infamously tried and acquitted for the gruesome murder of her own father and stepmother. Her story even inspired a film that debuted that year, starring Chloe Sevigny and Borden as Kristen Stewart as her rumored lover, housekeeper Bridget Sullivan. But what transpired after Borden's acquittal is just as intriguing. Desperate to escape the unfortunate name-calling and rumors that followed the accusations, Borden moved to Maplecroft, a nearby property, with her sister Emma. She was also rumored to have sparked up a love affair with another woman actress Nancy O'Neill, who later scorned her by ending their companionship. Decades down the line, multiple accounts of paranormal activity at Maplecroft have been reported, including sightings of Borden's apparition herself. Cool as that. The ghost of famed flamboyant pianist Liberace is said to haunt Carluccio's Tivoli Gardens and is located next to the now-shuttered museum in Las Vegas. The Carluccio family purchased the property after Liberace's tragic death from age-related illnesses back in '87. Decades later, though, Liberace, who professed to have a somewhat spiritual connection to his musical abilities, has appeared as an apparition to waitstaff at the restaurant. His ghost is said to have caused mysterious happenstances, including flushing toilets, locking doors, and whispering in people's ears. Ooh. On one memorable February 4th, though, Liberace's death day, this spirit reportedly caused the power to abruptly fail in the building. Staff who incorrectly believed it was his birthday huddled together to sing the superstar happy birthday. Seconds after the final refrain, the lights at Carluccio's flickered back to life. Sadly, Carluccio's has since closed and has relocated. Let's hope he went with them as well. Oh, and no spirits of the LGBT community would be freaking fit without some Walt Whitman, man. American writer and poet Walt Whitman, long considered to be one of the most influential literary voices of the 19th century, lived in Brooklyn, New Jersey, and Long Island throughout the course of his life. He struck up multiple romances with other men, like Irish stagecoach driver Fred Baum, who was the subject of some poems from Woman's magnum opus, Leaves of Grass. Whitman also suffered devastating personal tragedies, including unrecorded love and loss of two of his brothers. Before his death in 1892, he asked that his tomb be left unsealed so that his spirit could roam free. And roam it has. Multiple sightings of Whitman's apparition have been reported in the West Hills of Long Island, where Whitman was born and spent the first few years of his life. The hills inspired many of his poems, and it's said that Whitman's ghost can occasionally be seen wandering the highlands, looking through the woods toward the Fire Island. And finally, the psychic pianist of San Diego. Villa Montezuma, a Queen Anne-style home in San Diego, is the reported residence of quasi-famous spirit, the ghost of Jesse Shepard, a globe-trotting gay writer and psychic pianist who was believed to have channeled the spirits of famous composers during his performance. After settling into Villa Montezuma, where he lived for 2 years after it was decorated to his ostentatious specifications, Shepard published his first essay under the pen name Francis Grierson. He went on to be known by that alias until his death in 1927, immediately after playing a piano performance to raise funds for himself and his longtime partner, Lawrence Waldemar Toner, who were down on their luck in Los Angeles. Grierson's ghost and an apparition of his former butler are both said to haunt the villa, known locally as the Spook House. So there you have it. A bunch of, well, LGBTQ spirits. How interesting is that? I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, this next story is so awesome. I can't wait to bring this to you guys. It's a little bit older, but I think it really fits the bill. The title of it actually comes from Vice, so I want to give them some credit here. The title, here it is. We're here, we're queer, and we're ghosts. The surprisingly serious search for queer ghosts is a real thing. A lot of Americans believe in ghosts, 42% of us to be exact, and 18% believe they've actually seen or been in the presence of one, according to 2009 Pew Research poll. And while some studies may cast doubt on whether such phenomena are probably real, there are scientists who themselves believe in the supernatural, which speaks to the intensely personal nature of such beliefs. Why don't you just ask Shane McClelland about that, though? He says his first encounter with an apparition came to him when he was 8 or 9 years old. He glimpsed it walking down the hallway of a childhood home. Oh, and side note, Shane's also gay, and last September, he joined a group of fellow paranormal enthusiasts at his local LGBTQ center of Columbus, Ohio. They organized an informal ghost hunting social group, and the band of queer spiritualists, who themselves, the Stonewall Columbus Queer Ghost Hunting Club were called, have undertaken regular outings with the goal of resisting against the often presumed heterosexuality of ghosts. Yeah, that's right. When I'm out researching, I gotta ask what they identify as. There you go. And though they're not only queer people with an interest in the paranormal, they appear to be the first group dedicated exclusively to hunting only queer spirits. After a successful year of hunts, which had taken them from lesbian convents to theaters, mansions, and insane asylums, prisons, and more, the group launched a web series. It's actually called Queer Ghost Hunters. It attempts to balance the portrayal of what admittedly looks kind of odd as a pursuit with the seriousness of the group's efforts and passion for the LGBT community. How awesome is that? Man, if I ever have a gay ghost, I know who I'm calling. 100%. And speaking of famous gay people, you would not believe how many famous gay people believe in ghosts or had actually encounters and stuff. Like, right away, the first thing that pops in my head is probably Elton John, who has been very, very outspoken about all this stuff and has talked multiple times about, well, seeing ghosts. During a Q&A, a question came in from Casey Musgraves, who asked, any ghost sightings at your manor lately, Elton? And Sir Elton actually responded, Woodside, my house in Windsor, is meant to be haunted, but I've never seen a ghost and I've lived there since 1974. My husband, David Furnish, saw her, though, not me. And I believe him wholeheartedly. It was a Victorian lady. She sat on the bed and asked him if he could stop the noise outside, because there were deer running in the park. David was very calm. I'd have been frightened to death, though, is what he told the people. Pretty amazing. And dead people, I'm telling you, they just want to hang around. How about the ghost of, really, the definition to me of just advocating? It's Freddie Mercury. And on the evening of November 24th, 1991, Freddie Mercury died at the age of 45 at his home in Kensington. The official cause of death was bronchial pneumonia. Since his death, Freddie's ghost has been spotted by several people at the Dominion Theatre, 269 Tottenham Court Road, during the run of the Queen musical, We Will Rock You. He appeared during the singing of We Are the Champions, according to Ian John Shalito, who was stage manager there. I had felt the presence behind me while I was cueing the show. Then I clairvoyantly saw him watching the show from the wings and criticizing it. Freddie was also seen by one of the singers in production. And the list goes on of different sightings of Freddie Mercury. There's been multiple sightings during Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions, and also other famous people have heard his voice, who recognized him from working with him before. Yeah, apparently he had a very recognizable voice. They could just hear him talk to them when they're on stage sometimes. Guys, very, very, very bizarre. We had such a fun time with all these stories, man. We really did. We had real-life queer ghosts. We had a gay ghost hunting group. We also had a dead famous celebrity ghost sightings here with Freddie Mercury, and even Elton John has seen something strange. All these stories have been odd to Newfoundland.